Hello, let's continue talking about psychometric science. The SPs, or sensing perceivers, also called artisans, have in common a preference for seeing the world in terms of open-ended possibilities of practical things, physical things, measurable things. And therefore it is not a surprise that their self-concept words are creative, flexible, and audacious. That is, they want the world to be a place where they can try new things, break rules, and sometimes succeed. And so they exist in a certain kind of dichotomy with guardians, both psychometrically in terms of personality, but they're two kinds of sensors, but also kind of the two sides of one coin as relates to roles and hierarchies. Being a perceiver makes somebody not necessarily all that oriented toward practical, stable, black and white things, like a judger might be. To really understand the SP as a beta, which I'm promoting the idea that SPs are naturally beta, has to do with that television analogy. The kid that wants to get away with stuff, that sometimes succeeds, but is reassured when they find out the system works, when they get caught sometimes, and is drawn closer in some ways and more trusting to the person that caught them and disciplined them, because it tells them that, I can be crazy, but there's a safety net. Like the youngest child of a multi-child family, knowing they can get in a certain degree of trouble, but before they get themselves killed, their older brother or sister is going to intervene, give them a stern talking to, but also make sure they don't die. Now, I believe that with alpha comes responsibility, a sense that life is work, a sense that you've got to always be on other people's cases and catch them at stuff and remind them who's in charge. On the flip side of that, there's the opportunity, well, somebody else worries about that. I can have fun. I can pursue my interests. Um, I can stay out late. I can come to work on 2 hours sleep, and or even call in sick. And those people that are constantly reliable will pull the slack for me. They see themselves as connected in that way, and many don't want that responsibility because they want the fun. I'm not against fun. So beta in these terms refers to someone who is submissive. Now in this case we have rebellious submissive, but it's, when caught, I look bashful, I have my little puppy eyes, I'm sorry, and all is forgiven, because what the alpha wanted was you to place yourself in a subservient position and reiterate that the social order works, that the hierarchy is functional. Cooperative, rule following. Now in this case, rule bending, but you can't be an alpha or a beta without a deep cognizance on the inside that the hierarchy exists, that it's unavoidable, and that you have a role to play in it, and you know what it expects of you. You can't bend the rules if you don't know the rules. Now, because of a lack of the respect that alphas or SJs have for the hierarchy, many of them will go for positions of alpha type authority because they think anyone can do it, because they see there's money, they see that there's power. They don't love responsibility. You don't have to look very hard to find artisan leaders that hate all kinds of the responsible aspects of leadership, but wanted to be able to tell people what to do, but wanted twice the paycheck, but wanted a nicer car. So they are betas who will attempt to become alphas because they are testing the system. Now, thirdly, there is an unusual phenomenon that I think is possible that I've seen rarely. And that is this. I think where you have an SP, an artisan, that has two specific things. They have a third personality, hierarchical role option that is not available all the time to everyone. If an SP has something they all have, which is utilitarian tool use, that is, when you think about how to do a job, you think what's the effective way, not how do people feel about it, but and when you say that, you also say, what if I break a couple rules? Is it worth it to break a couple rules to accomplish this goal? All utilitarian tool users think that way in some regard. You know, would it be reasonable to dismiss the traditional rules and manner of doing these things to accomplish this goal? Utilitarian tool use. And then you combine that with something that half of the artisan personality types have, which is third function intuition. So that's ISTPs and ISFPs. Both have third function introverted intuition. You have the possibility of seeing the hierarchy for the thought construct that it is. It's not stone, it's not brick. They're not all flawless, they're not all inspired by God. Some of them are just very dull RPGs. Now, look that up for yourself. And then you have the strange possibility of an artisan who elects to become a Sigma because they can see that the hierarchy is not automatically fundamentally binding just because they were born into a certain role in it. So I think that it becomes possible with a strong and overdeveloped, perhaps, third function intuition, combined with a sense that rule breaking is sometimes a reasonable way to accomplish meritorious goals. So, the artisan or SP, born beta because of dislike of alpha responsibility, will become alpha to test the system, and very rarely will become sigma to break the system. All right. Have a wonderful day. If I have blessed you, encouraged you, done anything to improve your thought process today, please like and subscribe. You are talented, intellectual, well-groomed people.